Gotcha. Ayo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing y'all some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And I'm here today to bring y'all my favorite trade targets for Week 8 of the fantasy football season, as well as my sell high of the week. But before we get into that, the main event, the meat and potatoes, quick shout out to each and every one of y'all that come by on a weekly basis, showing your boys some love and support, helping the channel to grow. It really honestly means the world to me from the bottom of my heart. I cannot thank y'all enough. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to my humble abode. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, at any point, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. Make sure y'all are dropping your start or sit questions down in the comments that you want answered later on this week when we do the starts of the week and answering y'all start or sit questions. But on that note, we did move up the content schedule a little bit. You guys will notice that the waivers are still obviously Tuesday, but now trade targets coming out on Wednesday, and the starts of the week and the starter sit questions, you guys' starter sit questions, is going to be on Friday. I just wanted to put things out there, give them a little bit more time to marinate, whatever it may be, right? So I'm not just wearing the same shirt as I wore in Tuesday's video. I'm recording this video on the same day, right? I'm not just some disgusting sick freak. I mean, I kind of am some disgusting sick freak, but I shower and I change my clothes. There's a few things you should know about me. It's that I love fantasy football, and I shower, and I change my clothes. But listen, like I said, like I alluded to, we got the trade targets, my favorite trade targets for Week 8, quarterback all the way through tight end, as well as the sell high of the week. So make sure you stick around till the end of the video to check that out. But without further ado, let's kick it off with my quarterback trade target of the week, which is going to be Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you're going to notice a trend. This week and moving forward, we're going to start talking a lot more about playoff schedules because it's getting to that point of the year, right? You've kind of set your you've kind of set the standard for where your team's at, right? And hopefully most of y'all, all of y'all are killing it, and it's looking like you're going to make it to the playoffs. So I think it's time that we focus a little bit more on individual players' playoff schedules. But that's beside the point. Jalen Hurts, we like him nonetheless. Why do we like Jalen Hurts so much? Because he has rushing upside. We love that in our quarterbacks. We love the rushing upside. As for Jalen Hurts, he's had 40 or more rushing yards or a rushing touchdown in 6 out of 7 games this season. He's had 2 or more total touchdowns in 6 out of 7 games as well. He's coming along a bit as a passer. I expect they're going to lean on him a lot more moving forward with Miles Sanders out of the picture, at least for these next couple of weeks. Probably see a little bit more work in the running game without Sanders, and they'll probably just throw the ball more as a whole because Miles Sanders is not there to support their ground game. Now, as for the Philadelphia Eagles, they have a matchup here in Week 6 against Detroit. Week 8 here against Detroit. This is a great matchup for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles as a whole. I expect a big game from Hurts, so I think now's a great time to trade for him. And like I said before, as for a playoff schedule for Jalen Hurts, he gets Washington, Giants, Washington. That is the type of schedule, that is the type of player in Jalen Hurts that realistically could end up winning you your championship. Washington has been piss poor against quarterbacks this season. So I think now's a great time to get Hurts on your fantasy roster. Have him for those playoff matchups, especially championship week, getting Washington. He's got Washington twice in the fantasy playoffs. Go out and trade for Jalen Hurts if you need help at the quarterback position. But moving on from the quarterback position, we're going to hop on over to the running back position. First player I want to talk about is Elijah Mitchell of the San Francisco 49ers. The volume's been there for Elijah Mitchell. He's had 17 or more carries in 3 out of the 4 games that he's played here for the 49ers. He seems to have a stranglehold on this lead back role in this 49ers offense. That is a very, very valuable role in this Kyle Shanahan offense. They are a run-heavy, creative offense, and I expect this team to regress to the mean a bit, get a little bit better moving forward in the second half of this season. And if that's the case, they're finding more scoring opportunities. Elijah Mitchell is getting those goal line opportunities. Obviously, that is great for him. So I think now is a great time to go out and trade for Elijah Mitchell. And again, on the note of a playoff schedule, we have Atlanta, Tennessee, Houston, going up against Houston in the championship week. This is, again, another player that could really put you over the edge against your competition come time for the playoffs. So go out, get your hands on Elijah Mitchell, get him while he is hot. But another running back I do want to talk about is Deandre Swift of the Detroit Lions. Now, way back in Week 5, I told y'all I said it. Go out and trade for Deandre Swift. Go out and trade for Deandre Swift. Since then, he's averaging 105 yards a game, 20 opportunities per game, and he has also scored in every single game. You are buying high on Deandre Swift, but I expect this level of production to continue. Maybe not 100 plus yards, a touchdown every game, but I expect him to continue to produce at a very high level. And here's why. Detroit Lions suck, right? The Detroit Lions stink. But Deandre Swift's kind of role in this offense is not game script dependent because he's so involved in the passing game. If the Detroit Lions happen to be in a competitive game, yeah, he's going to get more groundwork. He's probably going to get more goal line opportunities. But even if they're down, even if they're losing, he is heavily involved in the passing game. So he's going to get those targets. The majority of the valuable running back touches on this team are going to go way of Deandre Swift. So even though he's been producing at a high level, you kind of have to pay a high price for Deandre Swift right now. I do absolutely think it's worth it. And again, we're not going to do this with everyone, but when it applies, I am going to say it, right? This is going to be a trend moving forward, not just this week. The playoff schedule for Deandre Swift, he gets Arizona, Atlanta, and Seattle. Again, another player that you can get your hands on now that I think will continue to produce at a high level and then come playoff time could really put you over the edge in those playoff matchups. That's obviously what's most important. We just want to make it to the playoffs, then we want to win that championship. And if you want to win your championship, go out and trade for Deandre Swift because he's playing up against Seattle in the championship week. He gets Atlanta in the semifinals. Great matchups for Deandre Swift come fantasy playoff time. But let's hop on over to the wide receiver position. And the first player I want to talk about is Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons. Now is the time to buy on Calvin Ridley. He has had a slow start to the season. He is currently the wide receiver 51 on the season in half PPR. He's had no more than 80 yards in a game this season, and he only has scored twice. He's only scored 2 touchdowns thus far this season. But like I always say, volume is king, and the volume has been there for Mr. Calvin Ridley. He's had double-digit targets in 4 out of the 5 games he's played, and he's had 8 or more targets in every single game this season. Volume is king. The volume is there. This is a pass-happy offense, and he is the number 1 option with Matt Ryan at the helm. I expect big time positive regression for Calvin Ridley, and it could start as early as this week as he has his next 3 matchups: Carolina, New Orleans, and Dallas. I expect all these matchups to be competitive games, to be matchups where they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, that Atlanta is going to be throwing the ball a lot, and Calvin Ridley is obviously Matt Ryan's number 1 target. We've seen it. He's had 8 or more targets in every single game this season. Eventually, he's going to regress to the means in terms of his yardage, in terms of his touchdowns, in terms of his catches, all that good stuff. Go out and buy on Calvin Ridley. He's one of the most elite talents at the wide receiver position. And after this slow start of the season, you can get him probably at the biggest value you will ever be able to get him. But if you're not feeling Calvin Ridley, you can't get Calvin Ridley. Another player I'd be looking to target in trades here in week 8 is Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins. Now, Jalen Waddle looks like far and away Tua's favorite target on this team. Obviously, it makes sense as they have that report from college. But in the games that Jalen Waddle has played with Tua, he's averaging 9 targets, 7 catches, and 71 yards per game in games with Tua playing the full game. That's 16.6 half PPR points per game and a 153 target pace. The volume, again, has been there for Jalen Waddle. Volume is king. We're chasing the players that are getting volume on a consistent basis, and it seems like Jalen Waddle is going to continue to be heavily involved as Tua's top option in this offense. Now, he has a tough matchup this week against Buffalo, but then after that, he goes up against Houston, Baltimore, and the Jets in his next 3 matchups. All matchups that are exploitable for the wide receiver position. And again, in terms of the playoff schedule, he gets the Jets, New Orleans, and Tennessee in championship week. So if you need help at wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Waddle, those are the 2 players that I'm going to be targeting here this week in week 8 for fantasy football. Now, moving over to the tight end position, we have Travis Kelsey of the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, I get it, man. It's not easy with tight end, right? I say this in the waivers every week, but even in the trade targets, it's not easy. Travis Kelsey is the tight end 1. He has not been bad whatsoever, but I do think now is a good time to try to buy on Travis Kelsey with all the injuries at running back, with bye weeks coming up. Maybe you can move kind of a package deal to get Travis Kelsey if you're helping out somewhere on a team that has some other needs. If you have a halfway decent tight end that has a breath of life in them. Maybe you have Mike Gesicki on your roster. Maybe you have TJ Hawkinson. Maybe you have Dallas Goedert, whatever it is. And you can package one of those guys with a running back or a wide receiver, a quarterback, whatever it may be that the other fantasy manager needs. You may be able to go out and get Travis Kelsey at a relative value because I think Travis Kelsey, of course, we know Travis Kelsey is a league-winning type of talent. Now, he has not broke 15 half PPR points since week 2, that being Travis Kelsey, right? So even though he is the tight end 1, he hasn't had these huge blow-up games that we're so used to from Travis Kelsey. But he's had double-digit targets in each of the past 3 games, and he's only had 1 game under 7 targets all season. Do I even need to say it? Do I gotta hammer it into your heads? Because I will. I'll hammer it into your heads. Volume is king, right? Travis Kelsey is far and away the tight end 1. He is going to be the tight end 1. I mean, it's more than likely, at least. If he ends up as the tight end 2, well, my bad. But I think it's a great time to go and get your hands on Travis Kelsey. He has a great stretch of games incoming with the New York Giants, Green Bay, Las Vegas, and Dallas. I expect this team to get it together. Travis Kelsey's in for some positive regression, in for one of those big Travis Kelsey games soon. So I think now's a great time to go out and get him. Again, like I said, I didn't touch on the playoff schedule really here because it's not super great. But come playoff time, when you have that positional advantage, you have that tight end, you have Travis Kelsey, it is absolutely going to help you, give you an edge over your competition come playoff time. So I think it's a great time to try to trade for Travis Kelsey here in week 8. Now, moving on to the sell high of the week. This is getting tougher and tougher every week. And I don't know if it's just because of buys and injuries or whatever. There just isn't as much to pick from. But I'm having a harder and harder time figuring out who I want to use for my sell high to week in and week out. But this week, I'm going with Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I love Chris Godwin as a player, but there's just been inconsistent production from Godwin all this season. He's only broke 74 yards twice this entire season. He has New Orleans next week, and then he goes on a bye, so you can get off of him now before the bye week comes. And these Buccaneers receivers are just really difficult to predict. Is it going to be Mike Evans? Is it going to be Antonio Brown? We never really know. Is it going to be Chris Godwin? Well, guess what? Gronk's coming back soon too. And you know Brady loves Gronk. Gronk was doing great before he got injured this season. So I'm sure once he gets back, Brady's going to want to get him into the swing of things. Is Chris Godwin going to be the odd man out? I don't really know. But I can't feel safe saying that I think that the Bucs receiving core as a whole, everybody, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, they're all very valuable, but they're going to be very hard to predict on a week-to-week basis. So I think now's a good time to move on from Chris Godwin, fill in another hole on your roster, and maybe try to upgrade a little bit at the wide receiver position, get someone that you can count on a little bit more on a week-to-week basis. So if you have Chris Godwin on your fantasy on your fantasy team this week, I'd be looking to move on from him after a big game here in week 7. But that is it. That is all there is. Those are my trade targets for the week, for week 8, as well as my sell high of the week. We'll do a quick recap. At quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts. Running backs, we have Elijah Mitchell, Deandre Swift. Wide receiver, we have Calvin Ridley and Jalen Waddle. Tight end, we have Travis Kelsey. And then our sell high of the week is Chris Godwin. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. Share this with everyone you know, your friends, your family, your teachers, your dogs, your cats, your grandmother. I don't care. Share it with everyone. Let me know down in the comments any of you guys' favorite trade targets, players you think I missed, maybe a better sell high of the week, whatever it may be. Make sure you're dropping your start, sit questions for Friday's video down below. Do not forget that. We are moving everything up. Obviously, this came out Wednesday, and we're going for Friday for the starts of the week video. So drop those start or sit questions. Get them while it's hot. Get them while they're hot. I would love to answer all you guys' questions. But actually, one more thing. Follow my socials. Links will be down in the description below. We're done. Me, my boy, we are out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you. Love you. Peace.